everybody, this is Bonnie from Bonnie's Creative Place, and I'm going to show you how to make this Peekaboo shutter card, the door and everything. So this is the card. Now I have to say I did not come up with this idea, and I'm not sure if I saw it over on DawnStampingThoughts.net, and Dawn Griffin, and I'm assuming she created it. That's where I saw it. So it's a really fun card. She did one that's something like this. This was my very first one that I did. Isn't it stinking cute? And then you open it up. This one doesn't flow as good because I made a mistake. And when I went back and rewatched her video, I realized what I did. I didn't get these close enough. So it catches a little bit right here. So I will explain that in my video. And I had to cut off a little bit of this so that it would open and flow nicely. But this one, when I went back and did it the second time, it flows perfectly. So I'm going to show you all my little tips and tricks, and if you want to, you can go check out Dawn. She did a live on it, but I just loved it so much I had to do it. I had to do one to share with my people, and so let's get started. Maybe you haven't seen it yet. So also over on my blog, when I'm done, the link to my blog will be in the description box below of this video. There will be a free PDF on all the information. I did change up one thing from what Dawn did, but that is it. So let's get started. So the first thing, I'm going to be reading my PDF too. You're going to need a piece of Whisper White thick cardstock. You want something thick. Now, if you're not going to use, like this is just thick because we're pulling it. Now, if you're going to use regular cardstock, you're going to be perfectly fine. But I think just regular Whisper White might be if you're going to do some coloring. But I would definitely not use Designer Series paper by itself. I would put it on the thick Whisper White, which is what I'm going to do. So you need a piece of Whisper White thick, and then I'm going to layer it with this DSP paper that will be coming out in the new catalog here on May 3rd. How exciting, in just a few days. And this paper is called Huge of Happiness, and I absolutely love the colors. So this is the bundle that I used to do this whole set with. So I need to get a tape runner because I forgot. And we are going to secure this. I'm mostly concerned about the outer edge. I'm not really concerned about the inside because you can reuse that, because we're going to cut this down. Now I kind of want to set this up. Sometimes using my table helps me. So there you go. So now we have that. So that is another piece of DSP, which both of these have to be 4 1/4 by 5 7/8. But don't worry about measurements. You can go over to my blog and leave me a comment because I'd love to hear from you guys. And also, you know, get the free PDF. Now we need a piece of basic Whisper White, and I want it to have a little background, kind of like I did in this one. So we're going to use a piece of basic white and another piece of DSP out of that paper pack, and it is the same measurements as the last one, 4 1/4. Now this one I am going to put some glue in the middle because we're not going to be cutting this one. And so then we're going to set this up just like I did the last one, if I can get my finger out of the way. And do that. So there we go. So now we have our two pieces. Now this is my one with my thick Whisper White. We're going to cut a square out of this. So you're going to need your cutter, and I'm going to try to zoom in so you guys can see what I'm talking about the best I can here. So let me zoom you guys in more. I don't know if that's better or worse. Let me zoom you out because I can't get my camera in any closer. So I have my trimmer this way because I'm left-handed, But on the side with the cutter, with the little board, on this side, you need to be at 5/8 of an inch, which if you go to the half, it's 2 tick marks over for 5/8. So you want to put that right there, just like that. So you want to put it right on the 5/8. Okay. Then we are going to take our cut line, and on the side of your paper over here, there is also a little grid marker, and on your little tool, there's these little pointers on each end. There's these little lines on your little cutter. You're going to line this one up at 5/8 of an inch. Again, you got your half, and it's 2 tick marks past your 1/2 inch line. So then you're going to place it down, and then you're going to go all the way up here, and I've stopped at 5 1/4, right with my little lines. So, and because I'm going through 2 papers, I just kind of went back and forth a couple times, okay? Then we're going to turn it. You're going to put this at 5 1/8, and then now you can line this little line up with your line that you've already got cut there. So we can line that up, and then we've got to come down, and I believe it ends at 3 1/2 is where, because we need to come back 5/8 minutes. Actually, it ends at like 2 tick marks after the 3 1/2. Well, there's the quarter, because that's an 1/8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 3 1/2. I was right. And so you're going to end at 3 1/2. And if you went over a little bit, it's okay. It's not, or didn't go down far enough. It's not going to matter. Okay? Then you're going to line this one up, back at the side again. Going to put it on the 5 1/8. Just make sure I have it there. Push it down so it's straight. Line this up with this. Then you're going to go all the way down to your 5 1/4 inch mark again. So we're going to stop, come back, and then we're going to turn it. We're going to line this up at 5 1/8 right here. We're going to line this one up with this, and then we're going to go down to the other score line, cut line right there, and you'll be able to see them. Now, if it doesn't pop out for some reason, it's okay. We got scissors. See, some of mine is popping, some of mine ain't. So then we're just going to cut right here. It's probably because I was afraid to go a little too far, and that's okay. You know, you can either go too far or not far enough, but all right. And see, that's why I didn't put stuff in the middle, because you can use these 2 pieces for something else. I was concentrating on putting the stuff on the outside. So now we have our square. So while I got this out here, we're going to make our mechanisms. And we need these little, I call them mechanisms. They're shutter doors. And what you need is you need one piece that is 2 1/8 by 4 1/8. So 2 1/8 by 4 1/8. You're going to put this in on the 5/8 inch mark. Now we're going to bring our scoring tool down, which is the light gray one. And on one long side, we're going to score all the way down. And then we're going to turn it, and we're going to put it on the 5 1/8. And we're going to score it on the short side. We're going to skip this long side, and we're going to turn it to the other short side. So we only did 3 sides. We did both short sides and 1 long side. So then you're going to bring it back to this long side that we did not score on. You're going to bring it back in, and you're going to score up to that score mark. You're putting it back in at 5 1/8, and you're going to score up to that score mark. If you go over it, it's okay. It's not. And then lift up your thing, and then go right up at the top and score down to that score line. Okay? So I got one here to show you a little bit, and I highlighted it in marker. So we scored here, then we scored here, we scored here, and then we only scored up to that score line, and then down to this score line. And it's all at 5/8 of an inch. So when you put this in here, it's at 5/8. So we scored all of them at 5/8. So now I'm going to show you how to cut this mechanism. I'll show you on this one and then we'll do it again on here. So on this one, on the side that I've got the long score line, I am going to be cutting. I'm not cutting in the ditch. I'm going to cut a little bit on this side of the score line. I don't want that extra little piece there. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm cutting off the score line. Then I'm going to come up here. Now here I am cutting right in the ditch, which is right in the middle of the score line. We are cutting this piece away. We don't need this piece. You could save it for something else if you want, but we don't need it. Now you're going to take the other side that doesn't have a score line, and you're going to take this side and you're going to cut up like this and cut up like this. Okay? And now you have these pieces, so these are like going to be your little tabs. And then we're going to get that out of the way, and we're about 1/8 of an inch. We're going to do a miter cut, a little miter cut in there on these two sides. Okay? Like that. Now, when you're going to do your scoring with the scoring thing, you only want to score your tabs. Don't score these sides. Leave them alone. You just want to score only your tabs. And you're going to want to score them back and front. Okay? Now I'm going to do it again here to show you guys it one more time. So I'm cutting on this side of the mark. Let me see if I can zoom this in a little bit more, because that way you guys can see. I don't know if the score lines will pick up, but and then I'm cutting on this side of the score line. And then I'm going to cut all the way up right in the ditch of this score line. So I'm getting rid of this center piece right here. We don't need that. Then we're going to turn it, and I'm going to cut right here on this, and then I'm going to cut right here on this, and then you can move this out of the way, and you're going to cut about 1/8 of an inch, very little bit, little tiny piece. And then on this side, we're going to cut off 1/8 of an inch also. Okay? So now what we got to do, and I will zoom back out so you guys can see this. Oops, sorry, going the wrong way. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to get our bone folder, and you are going to score on these, line them up the best you can, and you're going to score on them. And I want you to do this on all of these, back and front. You want to give them a good score mark. So then I want you to flip them around, and I want you to do it this way also. Because this is what is going to be making your card you know, go back and forth. Now I have these ones here already done, so I did them for us because we need 3 of these little mechanisms, is what I'm calling them. Okay, so now what you also need to do is you need to cut out 6 panels. I'm calling these panels. You need to cut them out, and this is where I changed it. I changed this. Dawn had it at 1 1/8, and on my first one, if you see here, there was like 1/8 of an inch that I'm like, oh, that's some real estate there that we could use. So I went and I extended it just 1/8 of an inch because there's about 1/8 of an inch over. So I did 1 1/2 by 2 3/4. Okay, I didn't go any taller. I just went the width of our piece here. So that's all I did. Okay, so you need 6 of these, and I had them kind of laid out, I think, the way I wanted them to go. Yep, like this. I think this is cute. This is going to be my front panel. So I'm just taking, you can use whatever adhesive you want, and I'm just taking some snail, I'm lining it up on this side of my card, and I'm trying to keep it even from the top and the bottom. And there is a little bit there, a gap, and a little bit there, but that's okay. Now you got to flip it over, and you see this little bit that's hanging? You got to cut that off. Okay? There's just tiny bits usually hanging there, but that's okay. We're just going to cut them off. And let's get this one a little more better. There we go. So now that's the front side of that one. And now we will do the rest of these. Is this the one I had there? I can't even remember. I think I actually had this one. So we're going to set that one aside. I think I wanted that one on the back half because it's got some blue, and I wanted more blue on the back. Okay, so we're going to do all of these. I went ahead and stamped this. This is a new stamp set that is coming out in the new annual catalog. And it is called, what's it called? I got it right here. Happiness Abound. And there's dies that come with this. But I just thought, oh, when I saw this and thought that I would recreate it for you guys, I thought this would be a perfect one to show you that you could do with it. Okay. And then we've got this one. Little pieces, push them off to the side there. All right, so now we have our mechanism. So now we need our base piece, this piece here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take number 1, and we are going to make sure these ones are flipped up this way. We're going to get some liquid glue because that's what I used and I like to use it. On these tabs on the right hand side, not those two, on these two only, on the bottom side like this, you're going to put a little bit of glue. I don't need too much. That one might have a tad bit much. I'm going to wipe a little bit off. There. Yeah. Now I wipe too much. There we go. All the way to the end. All the way to the end of this side, you're going to place these ones on the top and on the bottom. Just like this. And just kind of, this is why I like to use the liquid glue. So I like to make sure I'm down up there and that I'm in line, and it just, oop, and it gives you that extra couple seconds that you need. But don't push it like I just did, because then you'll have a little mess there. But it just gives you that extra couple seconds, okay? Now with this one down and these tabs up, you're going to put this one down. You want to leave just a little bit, and I'm telling you just a little bit because I screwed up on the other one and I did not leave enough space. And like I said, I ended up hitting the end. So we're going to put this one down. Add some glue on this side and on this side. Okay. And then we're going to line these up so that you're leaving just a little bit of room. You don't need a lot, you just need a little bit. Check your top and bottom, make sure they're on there, and they are, just like that. Okay, and now we're going to do this last one, and we're going to put some glue right here and right here. And then again, just leave just a tad bit of room. But, you know, just need room for it to fit on by. a little bit. And then make sure, oops, and then it moved on me. All right, there, just a little bit. Why can't I pick this one up? There we go. I just want to make sure the edges are good. And I even like to kind of maybe check it with this, because we're going to put it down here. And I like to see if I might have it over far enough. And I'm afraid I got to go that way more. So, which is a good thing that I checked it, and I'm using liquid glue. So I'm thinking I gotta go this way just a tad bit more. And I hope the rest of them open. I might have to move that one over too. This is what you could put it down and check it all, but this is what you want to make sure you're doing. Okay, I clear there. And there I don't have to worry about, but I have to make sure I clear this spot right here. And I clear it. See, you gotta clear that edge right there. And that's what did not happen on my last one. So you wanna make sure you're clearing it, okay? But now I feel like this second one could go that way just a little bit more. I know this is another reason why I like liquid glue, because sometimes it's forgiving. And no one's going to see that little rip if I rip the paper a little bit. So I'm just going to add a little more glue. I'm leaving in all my mistakes in this video too, because I want you to see what I did. Okay, there, that's better. I think I got a better spacing between them. And this one I have to add more glue because I picked it up and moved it. Yeah. So it's all about making sure they're tight, but you only need a little space. And that's where I screwed up on my first one, and I almost screwed up on this one. So you just need a little space for them to be able to move, you know, and open. So that's all you need. You need to be able to this lift up like that, and this one to lift up, and that one to clear the end. And that's why I like to put this right here at the edge and see if it's going to clear, and it's going to clear. So we're going to be okay. All right, now I'm just making sure all my glue's down and that it's secure before I go and pick anything up and monkey around with it. All right, now we need all these flaps going this way, like this. And now we're going to put a little bit of glue. You want enough glue that it holds it, but you don't want so much glue that it runs out neither. Okay. Now how I did it was I took this piece, I lined it up with the edge of the base piece, like that, and then I slowly push down. No, I didn't push down hard yet, and I'm just making sure. Now you can't play with it yet. You got to give it a second to adhere. And while you're doing that, check your edges to make sure all your pieces are in, like this, and just check it. You gotta give that glue a couple seconds to dry. It doesn't take long. And then you can slowly go like this. And after it dries more, you can do it faster. Now before you put this piece down, if you wanted to, you could stamp stuff inside here. You could sign here if you wanted to sign. But once this really dries, and play with it. Play with the mechanism. See, my mechanism there isn't quite dry yet. I want to make sure it holds down. But play with it and flatten it to go this way. Make it go this way flatter. And then move it back. Just keep going back and forth with it. Back and forth. Just to get the mechanism going. See how I got it going? And that is kind of how I did this. I mean, that's how I did this card. And I like that it can also stand up like this. And it can lay down like this. And just, you know, make it lay flat, open and shutting it. And that's how I did this card. I did the same thing with this one. So practice on some old stuff if you want to try it. My first one, you know, I did okay, but like I said, I didn't get them close enough, and you can definitely see they were not close enough. So this last one I had to cut out. And see, I stamped in this one, hello there. So when you opened it, you saw it, and then on this side it says sending hugs. But see, my card don't lay right because I didn't space them right. So it's cute, but this should have been way over. So I'm just letting you know, but I hope you guys enjoyed this Peekaboo shutter door card. And like I said, you can go get the PDF and all the measurements and everything over on my blog. So thanks, guys. Bye-bye.